Everybody sing that shit.
If England cut out the silly errors, they will win second test. I thought England would snatch a win by hook or by crook last week because their need for a victory was so great. I was wrong, but I'm actually more confident of a win on Saturday because England are the better team. England snatched defeat from the jaws of victory last week and only have themselves to blame for that, but cut out the silly mistakes and needless penalties which undid them in Johannesburg, and England will win this time around in Bloemfontein. The loss was not about any selection or any coaching issues, just professional players making needless errors under pressure which cost them the game. This England team really does need to start to wise up if they are going to fire a shot at the World Cup. No team selection is ever without debate, and I would still have a couple of minor quibbles with this 23, but overall it has a more robust look about it and the squad named should be good enough to get the job done. I am hoping to see 80 minutes of high-intensity, precise, clever rugby. In fact, a continuation of the first 20 minutes we saw last week. A fit again Joe Launchbury clearly adds to the equation. England have an abundance of ultra-athletic locks who can double up at 6, but sometimes that has clouded the selection issue. There is always much to be said for fielding a slightly lumpier, more solid second row along with the pure athletes. Not that Launchbury isn't a very fine footballer as well, but he has plenty of grunt in the tight and also knows how to grapple for possession around the contact area. He complements Maro Itoje very nicely. Launchbury's return means we can finally get a proper look at Brad Shields. Eddie made the call and Shields is undoubtedly 100% correct to chase any English qualified player. It is just the timing that worried me. Robshaw's loss of form over the last couple of games made his selection very easy, and I am looking forward to seeing him play. So that debate is over. Now let's see what he can bring to the England mix. From what I've seen, he is a specialist 6. Would appear quick and rangy and also offers a serious line-out presence, which is an area where England have struggled sometimes and one of the reasons Eddie has attempted to try the likes of Itoje and Courtney Lawes at 6. By all accounts he is also a genuine leader. He captains the Hurricanes, and at times recently England have appeared to lack a little bit of direction and maturity generally. He might rapidly become one of those Owen Farrell turns to for a quick word during the game. Shields' promotion sees Chris Robshaw drop out. Robshaw is a great warrior for England but has looked fatigued recently. He gives everything all of the time, and those kind of players occasionally hit the wall. It's by no means the end of the road, and he should now concentrate on getting some proper downtime this summer, training well and hitting next season running. I'm delighted to see Danny Cipriani has made the bench, and my hope now is that Eddie won't hesitate to give him some serious minutes if the match situation warrants. Cipriani is an instinctive player and is one of those individuals who really can make an instant difference off the bench, as he has showed on a number of occasions. He is fully involved now, and that's a good place for him to be after appearing to be surplus to requirements for so long. The bench is where I have my one real quibble. I don't quite get Ben Spencer's selection as the reserve scrum half ahead of Dan Robson, who has been the form scrum half all season the Premiership, whereas Spencer is often on bench duties for Sarries. The question you must always ask is what happens if Ben Youngs pulls a hamstring in the second minute? In those circumstances I would want Robson coming on. England also still seem to have left themselves short of second row cover, which seems odd given their resources in that position. Nikaic seems to have fallen out of favor very quickly, and again I pose the question, what happens if Joe Launchbury pulls up lame early on? Apparently, Shields would move up, which would again deprive England of a look at him in his best position, or perhaps Nathan Hughes would bite the bullet. Not ideal. Finally, this question of altitude. My theory has always been that its effect is minimal if you play well, but I must admit when I wrote that last week I didn't realize England were going back down to Durban again after the first test. I get totally that Eddie would want to prepare for a week or so ahead of the first test at sea level, but having jetted up to Johannesburg just before the first test, I assumed England would then stay on in the locality and make the short flight to Bloemfontein yesterday. That way they would undoubtedly be fully acclimatized. It's not a massive deal, the science on this is not all proven, But I was a little surprised, if I'm honest, logistically as much as anything else. If England win, it won't be an issue anyway, and that's exactly what I expect them to do. If you get a chance, tune in on Sunday evening for the Junior World Cup final between England and France down in Béziers, where a capacity crowd is expected. This is England's 6th consecutive final, and many congratulations to all concerned on that. England coaches can never complain about the conveyor belt of players coming through, but this is a huge moment, France making their first ever final. French rugby is beginning to stir again, thank goodness, because the European and world game needs a strong France. Some of the rugby the French youngsters have played in their wins over South Africa and New Zealand has been breathtaking and reminiscent of those great French teams who combined flair and power. I will of course be rooting for England, but what I want more than anything is for both sets of players to express themselves fully and excite us about the future.